Welcome to Faith and Freedom. For the next few minutes, we hope to inform, inspire, and encourage you as we discuss legal victories and challenges to your fundamental freedom and religious liberties. Faith and Freedom comes to you from Liberty Counsel, a civil liberties education and legal defense organization. Join us now as Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel, explains the latest legal issues all across this country. In the courtrooms of America, Liberty Counsel is winning the battle for your constitutional freedom.
Planned Parenthood files a lawsuit against Kansas for a law that requires women to be informed that the unborn child in their womb is in fact a separate human being. Hi, I'm Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel. Joining me is Matt Barber, vice president of Liberty Counsel Action. Matt, there's a lot of legislative movement that's taking place around the country. Arkansas, North Dakota, Kansas, Texas, other places around the country in 2013 advancing significant pro-life legislation. Kansas is one of those. And the law that was passed in Kansas requires that mothers be informed that the baby inside of them, if they're seeking an abortion, is a separate, unique, living human being. Planned Parenthood obviously is outraged over that, and they filed suit trying to block the law.
Yeah, you know, I've often said that the liberalism requires and relies upon deception in order to push an agenda. They cannot tell the truth about what they're attempting to do. And central, of course, to liberalism is this culture of death, is the pro-abortion position on life. And so, you know, whereas every aspect of the medical field has informed consent as a fundamental platform for patients and so forth, with abortion, the left has constantly tried to, they want the consent, but they don't like the informed part of it because it's all about the almighty dollar, the bottom line. And so they don't want people to know the truth. And so they are here filing a lawsuit to try to quash informed consent in the context of abortion.
Yeah, this is a director of the Overland Park Planned Parenthood filed suit trying to block the law. It's the Pro-Life Protection Act. It requires abortionists to inform mothers who seek abortions that they are ending the life of a, quote, whole, separate, unique, living human being, close quote. That's part of what is required under this law. And according to the individual, Orrin Moore, the director of the Overland Park Planned Parenthood, that this law violates her First Amendment rights to free speech by forcing this individual, as well as others, to say something that they do not believe is true. You know, here's the abortionist, and they say, well, I'm being forced to say something that's not true. Well, you know, the fact of the matter is there's no dispute over whether or not this is a
separate open for debate
human being.
Yeah.
It's like to say, you are a human being, I can't say that because it's not true. When, in fact, there's no dispute over this. The question is not whether or not this is a separate, living, unique human being. That is clear. The DNA, everything is completely separate from the birth mother. The only question is, what value are you going to place on that human being at what time in its formation? That's the only question, and that's not a medical question. That's not a scientific question. The scientific question's already been answered.
This is not even open for debate. Even the scientific consensus, even with pro-abort scientists, is that this is a separate human being. I mean, we don't need studies. I mean, logic and reason. You know, we are human beings. We have brains to work with here, unless apparently you're a liberal and a pro-abort. This is no different, Matt.
Isn't that why you stopped boxing?
That's exactly right. After years, Matt, of taking cumulative punches to the head, I was concerned if I continued to box, I might start voting liberal. But the reality is that this is no different than a doctor saying, objecting that it's a violation of his First Amendment rights to give a heart patient information about the quadruple bypass that they're getting ready to go through, and to say that there are risks associated with this. We're going to have to cut you open. We're going to have to go in, and there is a possibility of death or serious bodily injury and health complications in the future. He says, well, no, that violates my First Amendment rights. I don't want to tell him, how is this any different than that?
Yeah, no, it's when you're explaining informed consent to someone, Informed consent means to give them all the information that's necessary for them to make a decision, not hide it from them, not hide the ball. If you're going to a knee surgery, I had knee surgery a number of years ago, arthroscopic surgery for a torn medial meniscus. I wanted to look at the diagnostic studies before I made the decision to move forward. I wanted to look at all of the information, just like anyone. You want to look at the MRI if you're going through a back surgery or something of that nature. And that's all this is. This is an informed consent provision. Doctors can't hide the ball. As part of their medical profession, they have to provide information. That is relevant information for the woman to know. You know, the Supreme Court back in 1973 said, we don't need to determine when life begins. Well, they knew when life began back in 73 because in 65, Life magazine ran those famous photographs of the baby developing inside the womb, and it was a no-brainer. And medical science back then clearly knew about it as well. Medical science is even more so advanced. That issue is no longer open for debate. So for them to simply say to this woman that what you're doing is you're going to be ending the life of a separate, unique, living human being is just part of the informed consent.
Well, Matt, what she is complaining about, what this lawsuit complains about here, is that they have taken off the table the Planned Parenthood's ability to lie. There are, two types of lies. You can lie through act or affirmatively lie through a statement, or you can lie through omission. You're saying that, you are removing our ability to lie through omission or through an affirmative statement. You've heard the term for years, the rhetoric of the pro-abort lobby was, this is just a non-viable mass of tissue, a blob of tissue. This isn't a human being. Sorry, we all knew that was not the case. Science has established that is not the case. Now they're upset that their propaganda is tripped up by this notion of informed consent, which is sacrosanct, a sacrosanct part of the practice of medicine.
Well, and the whole abortion industry really distorts reality and ultimately, I think, sears people's conscience into doing things that are just despicable. Here we have the New York Times writer, who is a former Seattle City Council member, has written in the New York Times that she is, quote, grateful for her late-term abortion that allowed her child to die in a, quote, warm and loving place inside me, close quote. How can someone get to the point where they say that they're grateful that their child was able to die inside the womb for this late-term abortion? That the child died in this loving, wonderful, almost hospice environment, this nirvana kind of situation, when the child's actually being killed, either injected, ripped up, poisoned, whatever it is in terms of whatever procedure this person used. She said that the child had basically some abnormality, and that in fact had a congenital herniated diaphragm. A study basically in 2007 said that children with this have a 69% survival rate. Those with severe issues have a 57% survival rate. So there's a high likelihood of survival. Yeah. And she decided to take this child's life, and she now says, oh, I'm grateful for it. It's a horrible, despicable thing. Just like when you ratchet back your time frame to Nazi Germany, horrible, despicable kinds of acts that people did against other human beings because they no longer considered them to be human. Not because scientifically they weren't human, but because philosophically they don't put the value of a human on that person, and they think that what they're doing is to something who is non-human.
But this is even a little worse than that, because here she is acknowledging that this is a baby, that's human, that she can take some comfort in the idea that her baby was ripped to shreds inside of her womb. It's sick, it's twisted. There's no other word for it than evil. There is objective evil in the world, Matt. I'm not saying that this woman is objectively evil, but this statement and this demented worldview is objectively evil.
She says that this little boy partially dissolved inside of her, and his soul is now part of his sister. What a horrible culture Roe versus Wade has ultimately established in this country. We need to return this country to a position where we acknowledge the dignity of every human being created in the image of God infused with the right to life from our divine Creator. Go to Liberty Counsel's website, lc.org. Pray for this ministry. Pray for this country to return to a culture of life, that we repent from this direction and we change course. Also, if you want more information about how to be a part of this ministry, how to advance religious liberty, life, and family through litigation, education, and policy, go to our website. Remember Liberty Counsel, with your financial prayers and your support, you can give an online credit card contribution or other contributions by going to lc.org.
You have been listening to Faith and Freedom with Liberty Counsel. We hope that we have motivated you to stand up for your faith, family, and freedom. We can accomplish a lot when we work together. Get informed and get involved today. Sign up for our free monthly newsletter, The Liberator. We will send it out to you free of charge. Stay informed with our Liberty Alert email updates. Just click on the website at www.lc.org or call us at 1-800-671-1776. Tune in next time to learn more about your rights right here on Faith and Freedom.